on time, 1 o'clock.
Perfect. Yes.
On air, that's what it says on the screen. So we must be live.
Perfect. Yes. I'm going to wait for like a minute as people are joining in, because usually we would be doing these on Zoom. So I'll wait a little bit, just so people start trickling in. Okay.
Let's start at 101. That's beautiful.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay.
It's interesting. I'm looking at the screen, folks. If you're hearing us, it's our first time using a platform called Restream. So we're trying to figure out, how many people are watching it, but we'll figure it out. But,
Yes. So if you were watching from YouTube or LinkedIn, just let us know in the chat. It'll be fun to see where people are watching from. Yeah. So yeah, if you see my background, it's a little bit dark outside. It's 8 p.m. where I am. I am in the Netherlands. So it's already, it got quite dark several hours ago. Yeah, I'm very excited for today's live stream, not only because we're using a new platform and trying to broaden our reach with like how we stream and stuff like that, but also like I'm very excited about the topic at hand too. So, okay, so I think we should get started with the streaming and.
Yeah. So Maria, do you want to say a few words about yourself, and then I will just introduce myself as well, and then you can get going.
Yeah. So hi everyone. I am Maria. I work at Orkes. I am a content engineer, but I wrote. If you can probably actually see, I wrote like a content writing human. I really love. Yeah, it's a great job. I love it. I am currently in the Netherlands, and it's a pretty nice country. And my move here actually ties in with the project that I'm going to show you, which I'm excited for. And yeah, let me know, Amit, a little bit about yourself, so people also know a little bit about you. I work with Amit, so yeah.
I'll be the fly on the wall today. This is Maria's show. So my name is Amit Bojraj. I lead marketing here at Orkes, based in the US near Chicago. And this is something that we're going to do more regularly every week, hopefully. But this is a kickoff of our series for 2026. So thank you for joining us today. And today, exciting. It's all about LangChain agents and how we can take them effectively towards production. So Maria, over to you.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. So I just tested the comment on LinkedIn, so we can see it trickling.
Hey, nice.
If you can see it, Amit. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So. I should be able to share my screen, right? You guys can see my screen?
Yeah. It's live. Yeah, I can see it now.
Perfect. Awesome. So yeah, for today's topic, so if you've been following our blogs a little bit in our previous streams or webinars, we talked about how you can build an agent in Conductor, but then there came the question of like, okay, some people, already have their AI agents built, or they want to use something else to build their agents, but they still need that like final piece to bring all of these things together. And I'll explain what that means more as well. So we've had quite a few people wanting to use LangChain in Conductor. So in this live stream, I'm kind of going to show you how you can bring your LangChain agents into Conductor to build like a multi-agentic workflow. Because in the real world, if you're building an AI system of any sorts, more than likely you're going to have more than one agent, and you'll need more than just a singular agent to make a system work. So in that case, you will need some sort of infrastructure to back all of that up. and you probably don't want to build the infrastructure yourself. So in this live stream, we'll talk through how you can bring your LangChain agents into Conductor, and build any sort of agentic in like system that you want, and build it in like like I say quote unquote easier way, because you don't have to build that infrastructure from scratch. Now, a little bit about Conductor. We are an orchestrator. If you've been in the agentic space, you've probably heard about orchestrators. They're not only for agentic systems, but they've definitely entered the more mainstream talks recently because of people wanting to use agentic systems and build them. So yeah, we are an orchestrator, and so what Orkes Conductor does is it allows you to take different pieces of a system and put them together in uh, like a very cohesive system, where you can add durability, where you can add error handling, where you can add different tasks, and you can basically build a workflow so you can say like which task comes after which task. And I use the word task, but if you've used other orchestrators, you may be more familiar with the term node. It's essentially the same concept. So in this one, I want to show you how you can take a LangChain agent and put it in Conductor. And I've kind of distilled it into three small steps, three simple steps. They're not like particularly small, but they're simple steps. So we have the LangChain agent. So you can either like build that yourself like now or later, or you already have that piece of the puzzle, and then you want to take it to Conductor. But in order to do that, there is this middle step, worker task, and I'll explain also what that means. Now, your agents kind of work great. Let's say like you've tested them, you built like a really cool LangChain agent, or maybe like several LangChain agents, but they kind of need to talk to each other and they need to connect, and there is so many like different pieces that you can't account for. The one thing that I continuously struggle with when I build agents is like I can't predict with certainty what the output will be. And so putting it into a system, you have to also put like guardrails in place and stuff like that. And like, what if the output is this? Like, what do I do? And then you have to write a lot of like code surrounding that yourself. And then your problem goes from, I want to build this super cool app that uses multiple agents, to like, I am spending most of my time dealing with how do I support that infrastructure. And then you have like to test that code and stuff like that. So it becomes really complicated really quickly when you're building these agentic systems. So that's like really like a big problem that a lot of people are having when they're taking agents into production. So that is why we're kind of solving that problem of like this coordination chaos, the observability nightmare. Like if something goes wrong, like how do you know what went wrong and where? So this is why an orchestrator is like really important, because it's like helping you with that. You want something durable. For example, if an agent stops or has an issue, you need that system of like being able to restart that agent without restarting the entire workflow. Let's say you have like a giant workflow with like 3-4 agents. I say giant, 3-4 agents, but one of them stops. Like let's say the agent that's like in the middle or toward the end of your workflow, and then you don't want to restart the whole workflow, right? So you want to be able to resume from where that error occurred, and stuff like that. So that is the part of the durability problem that I'm highlighting here. And of course, there are other important things, like if you've been in the agentic space, you've probably heard the term human in the loop. And we talk about that quite a lot because it is quite important, especially when dealing with agentic systems and AI in general, as we're adding AI into our systems. I don't trust AI. A lot of people don't trust AI. I don't think it's a good idea to trust AI fully. And so you need, uh, like, we don't want to not use AI, right? But you need to have some sort of guardrail to be able to monitor it, to be able to say, like, if you see some sort of output from an agentic system, be able to say, you know what, I approve this or I don't approve this. So you want to have that connection between machines and people in your system. Um, and that's another aspect that orchestrators add to your system as well. Um, so
Also,
if
by the way,
I,
just a quick
Mhm.
interjection to the folks who are chimed in. If you have questions along the way, feel free to drop them in chat, whether that's LinkedIn or YouTube or our website. That way, we have folks in the background helping us with Q&A. So if you have questions along the way as we're presenting, feel free to just drop them and we will answer them right away.
Yeah, absolutely. If at any point you have any questions, like Ahmed said, just, feel free to interrupt and we're more than happy to answer them. This is supposed to be like a very, like, more of a laid back thing, not very, official, more casual and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this kind of slide kind of goes over what I mentioned about, like, why orchestrators are such a big deal for AI. Um, so we have these built-in retries, we have visual inspection. So you can see, I'll show you that as well, which is pretty cool. And this is a word that I also hear people talking about, like determinism around non-deterministic systems. So AI inherently is non-deterministic.
Can
Predict.
you take the screen a bit up because our there you go.
Like,
Because what is happening is our pictures are taking over the last section
got it. Thanks,
of the
Amit.
slide. This, this is good.
Perfect. Yeah, so LLMs are very flaky. Sometimes, as you all know, they hallucinate, they mix stuff up. Oftentimes, they don't know information. They give you the wrong information. Um, you ask them for one thing, possibly maybe like give me the output in JSON, but maybe it'll wrap that JSON in a string of some sort. So that, like, orchestrators solve that problem around non-determinism when it comes to your systems by adding guardrails and different other tasks that you can surround your agents with to add that determinism, so that you can use AI in a more safe manner, in a way that you can trust it. And I put here again, you can go from a cool demo to a production system that you can trust, because again, at the end of the day, that's really important for production. And we can't act like we're not going to use AI, because we are, and more businesses are wanting to use AI, and they need a way to be able to add that trust within agentic systems. So that's like a really important thing that I wanted to, like, hone in on. Okay, so like, let's say you have your LangChain agent, right? Like, you already have them. Actually, before I dive into this, um, I will want to show you what Conductor actually is, to give you an idea of what it looks like. So I switched to developer Orkes Cloud. Um, this is like the developer edition of Orkes Conductor. Now, can someone, Amit, or someone link that for people to have? Um, Thank you. So this is a free program. So like, this free platform, you can make an account, and this is what you will see when you make an account for the developer edition of Orkes Conductor. So I just wanted to give you like a brief, like a look of what it looks like. And before I dive into, like, the steps that I talked in the beginning, I want to show you an example of what a workflow looks like. I'm not going to dive into it. I'm going to just give you a visual idea of what something could look like. So let's look at this one. I'll dive into it more in depth later, but I just wanted to show you quickly. So this is what the workflow looks like for people who are not familiar with a workflow. And just to quickly go over it, I'll zoom in a little bit. You can this like a box here is a task or a node. It performs like a certain thing, and then the output from that node or task goes into the next one, and so on and so forth. So this is like just to give you a visual idea for some people who want to just get an idea of what our workflow looks like. And here, if you scroll down a little bit, are agents. And I just wanted to give you that before I dive into the next one. So I'm going to switch back to the slides. Okay. So how do you put those? So Conductor has built-in tasks that you can use that we anticipate you will need, like reaching out to an HTTP, reaching out like through an API through HTTP, or like reaching out to a database, or having an LLM task. But we can't predict every single thing you want to do, and we still won't be able to provide you with the flexibility to add anything you want to your workflow. So let's say you build your LangChain agent and you want to put it in, right? So first of all, what is an agent? So an agent, this was like a question that a lot of people were having earlier on, but I think as time went on, we kind of agreed on a good definition of an agent. So an AI agent is just like an LLM that has access to tools, doesn't have to use them, but has access to them. And it has some sort of reasoning loop. So that's like, if you go to like different providers like OpenAI or other ones, you can like, they will probably have more technical definitions, but at its core, this is what they're all defining an AI agent as. So you give it a goal and it outputs something for you. Here I put, it decides what tools to call. So you don't decide for it. The LLM part, so the brain of the agent, will decide what it needs to call. And then it observes the results. If it needs more information to achieve its goal, because again, it has one thing, it has one goal. You've probably seen the memes of AIs. You give it a goal, and it does anything it needs to achieve that goal. So it observes the results and it keeps going until that task is done. Now, if you can probably for programmers out there, that probably seems a little bit scary. Like it keeps going until the task is done. Like sometimes the task cannot be done. Like if I ask the agent, give me the true meaning of life, like it can probably think forever because we even haven't figured that out. So in times like that, you usually put guardrails around your agent as well. Like let's say don't think for more than 5 minutes. Okay. So in LangChain handles that loop for you. I'm not going to dive too much into LangChain, but I did want to show you just a quick code what a LangChain agent looks like. So it has, like mentioned before, an AI agent has tools. So this is a tool, and I'll explain what this means as well, like find doctor. And you create the agent here, and then you invoke it. So if I zoom out a little bit, this is an AI agent that finds doctors in a specific location. So I say, hey, agent, I am moving to the Netherlands. Find me a doctor in the region. And so this is what this agent does. So it has access to tools, like we mentioned, find doctor tool. And here is just like a dummy reaching out to a database, but it can be anything. Like for the tool. If I scroll down a little bit, this is where the really cool stuff happens when you're creating your LangChain agent. Create React agent. So this is like a create reactive agent. So you have your agent, LLM, you add the brain of your agent. So the brain is just an LLM. And then you have this like tools section, which is an array. And all you have to do is just put in the tool that it has access to. In this case, find doctor tool. But let's say you want to build a more complicated agent and it needs more than one tool. You can add it as well. You can define it as a function. maybe under find doctor tool, you can like tool number 2, find doctor is in my zip code tool, like something like that, or doctors that speak like English or Dutch or German, anything like that. And so you can continue adding these tools in this array. System prompt, you are a healthcare provider finder agent. That's all it needs for now. Okay, so this is like the background I wanted to give you on LangChain agents. If you're not
Maybe,
familiar with them,
maybe one more point I can make here, Maria. I mean, we're talking about LangChain in this particular context here.
yes,
That's because LangChain is a very popular
it
framework,
is very
right? But
popular.
whatever Maria is talking in terms of like building an agent with Orkes Conductor today as well. So whatever Maria is covering here from an agentic workflow standpoint is very much, we can build that in Orkes Conductor. But we're covering LangChain agents because it's just a very popular framework and there's a lot of acceptance for that framework. But when LangChain agents go towards production is where they have issues, where they struggle. And that is why we're talking about this conversation about like how can you take LangChain agents effectively towards production. But what Maria is talking about in terms of building an agent, you can do that effectively in Orkes Conductor as well.
Yeah, we just wanted to show you that if you do have, let's say, if you do have those LangChain agents, you can bring them in if you want to.
Right.
For example, a lot of people have, maybe they want to build one agent in LangChain, they want to build a different agent in something else. Like, so you're able to build an agentic system where you have those agents from different places. You don't have to rewrite your LangChain agent if you have one, let's say, in order to be able to use an orchestrator like Conductor. Okay, so let's say you have this, but like, how do you put that agent into a workflow? Like, if I switch back to the workflow that I showed you earlier, like I have this code, right? I have this code of what, like my LangChain agent, but how do I put it here? That's what I want to know. Like, how do I put it healthcare provider finder? How do I put it right here? That's what I want. So, because I want my workflow to be able to, find it and run it. So this is where we go to step number 2. So I mentioned earlier that Conductor has a lot of built-in tasks. And someone can probably link the documentation where you can find our built-in tasks and stuff like that to see what you can do already. But again, we can't predict everything that a person might need. And there are, in a lot of instances when you want to plug in your own service into a workflow. And in that case, we have what we call a worker task. And that's just a custom piece of logic, of code that you can plug in, like you can use to plug into the Conductor workflow. So you can just use it like any other task in the entirety of the workflow. Like, just to give you more of a visual example, if I go back to this one, and if I scroll a little bit up, and okay, so this LLM text complete, that is a built-in task. So that is something that we provide for you, and you can like plug it in through this like plus button, and you can, oh look, all of these tasks that you can pick from, and there is more as well. And one of the options is, if you click on the plus sign to add another part of the workflow, is this like worker task, this one. And this is where, this would be your custom logic. This is where it would live. Okay, let me remove it. So if I go back to here, so then the question comes up naturally of like, okay, but how do I, how do I still do it? And so in order to do that, you just have to write a little bit of code, not too much, where you give it, now we have SDKs to help you with that. So you like define it like healthcare provider finder worker. You give it a task definition name, healthcare provider finder. And I'll show you more in depth the code later as well. And then execute. So you have get input from Conductor. So let's say this worker needs the input from that task beforehand. Let's say here, simple task, healthcare provider finder, but it needs to take the data that comes from this task, which is a for parallel research one, or it needs to get the input from this task. And so you can here you can just add get input from conductor, and you can define it later on. Here on number 3, just return the output to the back to the workflow. So it takes input, it returns output, and then this is the interesting part here is where your LangChain agent runs. So this is like pretty much all. If you already have your LangChain agent, this is all you need to do for this worker. So you just call it in here, and you're able to get the result from your agent into results, and then you can give that result back to your workflow. So this is essentially what a worker is in like a very brief overview. And we have like really good documentation surrounding workers. And if you want me to do like more in-depth live stream on workers, that would be really fun as well. Just let us know. Okay, so this is step number 2. You have your LangChain agent. Maybe you're building it now. Maybe you've already had it, and then you wrap that up in a worker task code, and then the important bit is your agent code stays clean, and the wrapper, this like worker task, acts like as a bridge to conductor. Okay. And step number 3, I'll go back to this one in a second. Step number 3, you just plug it into your workflow. I already showed you how you can do that through the UI, but you can also do that through code. So if I go back to the UI, and if I show you, if you look on the right-hand side, you can see these different tabs, right? And so here you can see the UI. You can build onto it here, but you can also go over to this code tab, and you can also add stuff here as well. It's fully editable. You can see I'm typing, and you can add more tasks like that if that's your preference. It's okay. So switching back here. And so this is like a simplified version of that. So you have the name of your workflow, and then you have tasks, which is just an array. And let's say you have the first task, medical system navigator, right? And the simple task, type simple. Then you add another one in that array that makes up your entire workflow. So that's essentially how you can do it through code. But again, I personally prefer the visual aspect of it, and I think a lot of people prefer the visual aspect of it because it's like very easy and very intuitive. And again, I put full observability, very important. Human in the loop, it's durable. We have automatic retries. Like all of these things are very inherent to what orchestrators provide and what we here at Orkes Conductor provide as well. So that's kind of it on like the theoretical aspect of it. You have 3 steps in order to bring your LangChain agents to Conductor. You build your agents. You already have it, let's say. LangChain does its thing. You wrap that agent in a worker task, that's how I envision it, as like a bridge to Conductor. And then you can plug that in into your workflow so that you can build those awesome agentic systems, apps that you want to build. If I scroll up a little bit, I did mention I'm from the Netherlands. I moved to the Netherlands, and I wanted to give you an example with like what you can build, what agentic system you can build. So while moving to the Netherlands, there was so much to do. Like I moved from Seattle, by the way. So like from the US to the Netherlands, the healthcare system is completely different. And I spent a lot of time researching it. My partner spent a lot of time researching it. So I was like thinking like, I'm not even fully done like with knowing everything and getting everything set up. And I've been here since September. And so for this example, I built like a healthcare relocation assistant where you can use AI to help you do that research so that if you're moving somewhere else, let's say you have something that will speed up your healthcare relocation, because that's very important and you don't want to miss something. For example, in the Netherlands, you have to have a health insurance within 4 months. But like, if I just moved here out of the blue and I didn't research it, I wouldn't know, and then you get fined and stuff like that. So for this example, let's say we have 3 agents working together in a cohesive system. So we have a doctor finder. I need to find a doctor, right? I'm moving to a new place. I need a doctor. That's the first thing I need. I need to transfer because how do I explain to my new doctor everything that I've had done before? Because I don't even remember that. My previous doctor knows that information. And then you have, like, let's say, like an insurance advisor. You can also like swap these for something else. For example, let's say I want to learn about, like, I want to do a research. You can have a research agent that will do the research for you in your country. Like, let's say I'm moving to the Netherlands, but like, let's say someone is moving to Spain. So you can tell your agent, hey, I'm moving to Spain. Help me, help. And it'll do all of that for you. Okay. So this is like an example of like something that you could push to production where you can have these individualized, specialized agents doing different things for you. Now I want to go to the code just to show you these agents. Okay, so this is my VS code. Let me know if I need to make it bigger.
Yeah, please.
Is that
Yeah,
good? Being
much
it
better.
bigger?
Much better.
Much better. Okay. So, not to get overwhelmed with code, all you need to pay attention to is this folder here, healthcare relocation workflow project. That's all we're gonna work with. Okay, now let me minimize that. The important bits here that we talked about, LangChain agents. Here I have individualized agents that doing their own little thing, not knowing anything about each other. So I have a doctor finder. This one just finds doctors for me in my location. We have medical system navigator. This one like helps me navigate this like whole new system and does research for me. We have an agent that takes the prescriptions that I have and like figures out, like, what do I need, like stuff like because you may have medication that you need to continue to this new country, but you need to figure out like does that medication that I'm taking go under a different name and stuff like that. So that is what this agent handles, like anything medication related. And then we have an email drafter agent, which is basically writes emails for you. Like, let's say I need to write an email to my new doctor. I need to write an email to my old doctor. I need to write an email to maybe several doctors. And as I'm moving, I don't have the time or the mental capacity or energy to do all of that. So that's what that does. So these are just the 4 agents that I want to put into a workflow so they can work together to solve my problem. That's what I want. I want them to solve my problem. Okay. So the next one, the next piece, so number 2 that we talked about is the workers. So this like worker task. This like bridge between conductor and your agents. And so here I just defined it with JavaScript. Don't judge me if you don't like JavaScript. I know people out there have opinions. I'm a fan, okay? Okay, so for this one, all I'm doing is like importing these agents in the code, and then I am just creating these worker tasks here. I'm saying like, hey, make a worker task for this agent, make a worker task for the prescription agent, for the communication drafter, and the medical system navigator. 4 agents, 4 worker tasks. And this one is just like start the workers so they can start pulling. I'll get into that. So for this little one, I'll just show you one of them. You don't need to see all of them. They're practically like the same. So healthcare provider, kind of like we mentioned before, this name here, healthcare provider finder, very important. It has to match. So you have to register these in Conductor, and I'll show you that as well. But in the names have to match so that it knows what it's looking for. And if I scroll down, again, agent invoke, this is where I'm calling the agent so I can save the results. And that's essentially what I showed you earlier. And it's following that for every single one. If I open up this function, start worker, I just have this like client from the SDK. And someone can probably link the SDK's, the like the docs for the SDKs and what we have to offer and stuff like that. So again, if you're the majority and have problems with JavaScript, you can use Python or Java or Go or anything else. Closure. So yeah, so here I'm just like connecting to Conductor. So I make that connection. I'm like, hey, Conductor, I I need to register these workers so that you know about them. And then like the SDK also has a task manager managing all of these tasks. So I'm like, hey, set up the client, and in this array, I'm just passing all of the workers that I want to start polling for work. And by polling for work, all I mean is they're on the side once they start and they're like waiting. So you start your workflow and they're waiting there for their turn. Okay. So now that's all, honestly, that's all I wanted to go over with you for this part. Now I'll go back to Conductor, to our UI, and this is actually where we want to be. So this is the project, the healthcare relocation workflow. I'll show you exactly where those 4 agents are as well. So the first 3 agents, now these agents don't have to run one after the other. So let me make that bigger. Here, what I'm doing, and Conductor supports that, is I can do the medical system navigator, like help me learn about the healthcare in my new country. I can do the prescription transition manager, like I can, help me figure out how to manage my prescriptions. And I can also find a doctor all at the same time. Like they don't need to happen one after the other. So that's what I'm doing here. These agents are running in parallel. They're at the same time. So this is 1, 2, and 3 of the agents. And then the final agent is the communication drafter. This is the other agent that I showed you. Just like writing those emails to those doctors as well. Okay. So, and, as part of Conductor, as part of a workflow, you need more in that. So like, take my input. For example, I say here, I am moving to the Netherlands in a couple months. I don't know anything about the healthcare there, and I need to, and what I need to do. I'm taking medication called propranolol. Fake, by the way. I'm not giving you my real one, for sleep, that I need to take daily, and I just need to figure it all out. I want to be set up with a complete healthcare plan and system, so I don't run out of medication before I get the chance to see a doctor. Now you can just plug that into ChatGPT, right? So that's why this agentic system comes in place. So we have our tasks. So it takes the input, it extracts everything like into JSON format from the result. We're going to be running out of time, so I'm going to skip over that. Human in the loop, I think we have quite a few resources, and that is important. So someone will probably also link the human in the loop tasks as well. Like we have a blog for that. That will be helpful. So, okay, so let me run that and show you what it looks like. So if I go back to my code, now the reason why I say like run it is because these workers need to start polling, right? They need to start waiting on their turn. So all I say is node, and then workers.js. I'm running this file that I showed you earlier with all of the workers waiting on their turn. And okay, so here you see I am connected to Conductor. And if I make that a little bit bigger, you can see task worker initialized and is polling for work. All of them, they're ready. They're waiting. So if I go here and then this is my execute. And now the cool thing about systems like that is if something goes wrong, we can see why. Because again, this is a demo. Okay, so here I saw syntax error I have. Let me figure that out why. But actually that's on me. I'm like my code, I wrote something wrong, but you can see like that intake analyzer, you can see here in input, I'm moving to the Netherlands, and the output is giving me a bunch of JSON. And my code, something that I wrote, Conductor is like telling me, hey, your code is wrong, like fix it here. This is the JSON that I'm getting. So you can visually see things that went wrong. And so from here on out, I can very quickly debug what went wrong. Let's see. Jump to task, the definition, discard local changes. That's probably because I was messing around with it while, okay. Let's execute it again. And if I was still having problems, I'll show you an earlier run that I did so that you can see what the input and output was before I was messing with it during the demo, where I, probably messed something up. So this is the intake analyzer. Okay, so it's probably giving me the same error. So I'm going to show you is I'm going to go to this executions tab, and here you can see all of the runs from a workflow. So you can see like my last 2 executions of this exact workflow failed because I, Maria, wrote something like a bad code in there. And so it shows you, hey, this one failed, and these like last ones failed. Now this one completed, so let's jump into this one and see what it looks like. Okay, so here, intake analyzer, if I go to input, again, the same query that I showed you earlier. I'm moving to the Netherlands, like help me out, and it gives you an output. Now this output then goes into the second task, and that extracts everything into a JSON from the LLM, because the LLM is going to give you like weird outputs sometimes in strings. So I just want a deterministic output, so I can add this inline built-in task. And then I go into should collect more info, like, hey, sometimes, the LLM is like, I need more information to be able to complete this whole thing for you. So this is where humans come in. So I have this collect more info human task. And that human task is like, I'm sure someone linked it below. So it's just like the workflow at this point pauses, and then it waits on the human to give an input. And you will be able to see all of these in the human tasks right here on the left-hand side if you look into it. And then, it continues on like a normal workflow, then merge the final brief. So it merges my initial input and more information. So like now, this LLM task is like, okay, I'm merging what you said, and I'm merging the extra information that you gave me into one input. And I'm providing that input to all of the 3 agents here that are running. And these are running at the same time. So all of them have the same information. And then you go to output. So let's see, first agent is like, here's an overview and steps you can take to ensure continuity of care for your propranolol during your move to Amsterdam, and stuff like that. So it just gives me information about the medical system. Like it says here, in the Netherlands, GPs manage ongoing care and prescriptions. So you need to find a GP. Okay, yeah, you must register with the GP upon arrival, and it gives you more information on and on. The prescription is making some assumptions. Okay, origins United States, destination Amsterdam, Netherlands. So the assumption is like purpose. I didn't provide that, so it's like assuming, the LLM is assuming. And here is where you can add even more like guardrails of like, what if like you don't want it to assume? So like you can add more stuff to it, like more guardrails and tasks to make sure it doesn't make that assumption, because the LLM here we can see is making an assumption. And again, it's saying like assumption, 90 days of medication, you'll need 90 days of medication, stuff like that. And healthcare provider finder, I use the MOG database for this example because I don't have like a access to a database of all the doctors in the Netherlands right now. But just like primary doctors who speak English and they help you with your care. Dr. Anna provides ratings where she is at and like stuff like that. So once these agents complete, we have this join fork. So this task and this task are kind of together. And so the fork separates the tasks that will run at the same time. And then you have this join task that takes the results of all of these agents that run at the same time and puts it into one. So it combines the output. So if I go to the output here, You can see the response. So you can see the medical navigator agent response. This is what one of the agents responded with. The second agent responded with, and somewhere, the third one as well. Okay, cool. And then we jump into the health plan assembler. This is another built-in, if I zoom in, LLM complete task. I don't need an agent for that. I just want to say, like, you know what, take all of these and make me a health plan. So you can use the built-in task for that. You don't need bring in an agent for it. And the final one, this is the final agent. Draft me an email to send to all of these doctors that I need emails for. So here you can see in the output, urgent medication refill and GP registration in Amsterdam. And it's like writing the LLM, the agent is writing, Dear Dr. John, the Dr. John is the current doctor, let's say in America. I hope this message finds you well. I'm relocating to Amsterdam. And it's like providing, like gives you this like just writes the emails for you, and from here on out you can like build onto that. You can add an integration to like say, hey, take these emails and send them to these doctors, so I don't have to send them myself, and you can add it to that workflow. And this is again what an orchestrator gives you. You can get notified for things. For example, some of these agents may take a while, perhaps, and you don't want to like wait on them here, constantly. So you can say like, I'm on Slack, message me on Slack when this is ready, or message me through email when this is ready, or send me a text when this is ready. And you can build that onto your workflow. So yeah, workflows and orchestrators are like really cool and really important when you're building production agentic systems. And this is like exactly why, because it's not just one agent, it's not just another agent. And even if you have these like 1, 2, 3, 4 agents, they need other tasks around them to make them work in a production ready system. So yeah, that's basically like what the live stream is about. I hope that you will be motivated to build those agentic systems and see what you can build. For example, one thing I built personally for me is an agent that takes things that I do throughout the day. I put in Slack like, hey, I did this, I did that, and then I have a workflow in the background that takes all of that and creates like a stand-up for me and just posts it back to Slack. So yeah, you can like experiment with it and stuff like that. But this shows you like the real value of orchestrators in agentic systems, and especially how to bring your LangChain agents into Conductor. Because we've had a lot of people who were like, you know what, I do have this agent. How do I bring it to Conductor and stuff like that?
And I just put the link of the blog that just went out yesterday. This is a
Oh,
blog
thank you.
about very recent, fresh out of the oven, a detailed view of how you can orchestrate LangChain agents.
Yeah.
If you have any kind, sorry to cut you off, Maria. If you
Oh
have
no,
any
you
questions, yeah, if you have any questions, folks, drop them in the chat on LinkedIn, YouTube. Happy to. One question actually from a LinkedIn user about how is Conductor different from LangGraph. So LangGraph tool that adds workflow-like behavior, right, including human in the loop to agents built with LangChain. Conductor provides a very similar interface, right, for agentic orchestration capabilities, but it goes broader. It goes into service orchestration. It brings in reliability and also deep levels of observability and monitoring. So think about LangGraph as primarily focused on AI agent control flow for LangChain agents, whereas Orkes Conductor is designed for full production workflows that includes microservices and agents, right? So it's much more broad than LangGraph can achieve.
Yeah. Also, I've heard feedback that people find that LangGraph is it's more a lot more code heavy, and sometimes people want something that's more higher level, and LangGraph tends to be lower level as well. So that is pretty important, especially if you want people who are not programmers to be able to build those workflows. So yeah, I think that's another aspect of the differentiating aspect.
I think the visual interface is very. I think
It is insanely critical.
it just adds a lot of visibility to your processes, especially when you talk about when things go wrong. You can quickly hone into the problems because you have flow interface built into the platform.
Yeah, and when a problem, like, yeah, when a problem happens, it's really scary because like you want to figure it out. So it's very like important to be able to figure it out quickly. But yeah, it can be scary, but I think having that visual component makes it a little less scary as well. So
Thing with agents, because you are in loop, you are going through multiple iterations of that execution. In Conductor, you can slice that like an onion. You can, you can peel the skin off. Like you can go iteration by iteration, and you can see where things got hung up, things got broken, something went wrong with an MCP tool. So yeah, it just gives you that very, detailed view of finding out the issues when things go wrong.
agreed.
Cool. Any other questions from the audience on LinkedIn, on YouTube, if folks are on our website? But do look at this blog as well. I think it's probably the longest blog that Murray has written at Orcus. It's a detailed developers. It's like a developer's guide, calling a technical guide, but it goes into quite some depth about how you can use a worker task to wrap around LangChain agents and bring them over to Conductor.
Yeah, this is definitely a blog for people who want to dive more into it and like get more information and just not just like a skim through something through an idea. So yeah, there's a lot to add. So I just wanted to make sure it's like the information was there for folks.
Actually, I should also drop the blog that you wrote on building your first agents.
Yeah, so that's if you so to give people an idea while Amit is looking for it, that's if you want to build an agent through Conductor and instead of through LangChain. Again, the options are there. Like, you should make the choices best for you, and we're here to support whatever that choice is. And I think I mentioned earlier, like you can build one agent in LangChain, you can build another agent through something else, and like we provide the infrastructure to help support all of that, so you don't have to pick one. You're not like I think I'm trying to think of the term that not stuck, but like yeah, I can't think of the term right now, but
Yeah, I found the blog. I put that in the chat as
thanks.
well, so folks can see that. I think it's called like building your first, like building useful agent in Orkes Conductor. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome.
Any more questions, folks?
And yeah, if you don't have any, just give us a shout. For example, you can message me or Amit about it, like what you want to learn about. The idea with these is to, have them be casual and have, be a learning thing because orchestrators and agentic systems are they're getting thrown at us and everyone feels like you have to know it all and like, you have to learn it fast and we're kind of all in the same boat and we're just here to help you to help that learning happen and answer your questions and stuff like that.
I'll drop one more hot topic into the mix here, which is MCP tools and MCP gateways.
Good one.
This is a bit of a preview for the next week. Plan for next week is to do a similar coffee chat with Nick Lotz, who's our other content writing human in our team. So he is going to be covering MCP gateways and MCP tools, right? So how you can basically take any API within your enterprise, within your company, or any workflow, and convert that into an MCP tool for to be called by AI for any agent going forward. So tune in for that one. It should be a good one for again going from the kind of the building out the agentic workflows. We think about this from a maturity standpoint, companies are going slowly and steadily towards agentic workflows, right? But they have to build bolt-on things as they build on. So orchestration, then you build in some agents, and now we talk about connectivity to existing systems. That's when you want to bring in MCP. And so next week we'll talk about MCP, MCP gateways, and how you can expose any internal API as a callable MCP service. So yeah, tune in for so keep a look at that email or LinkedIn. But that's all. That's going to be the next topic for next Wednesday or Thursday.
Yes.
Think we are good, Maria, from
Yeah, I
your
think
side.
that's no, except to say like thanks for joining. These are really fun to do, and the MCP one was requested from last time actually. So again, if you have requests, feel free to bring them up. And yeah, that's it. Thanks. Hope everyone has a good day. If you're in daytime, and if you're from my side of the world, have a good evening.
Bye, folks.